Today was the day of the tragedy in Connecticut in which the children were slaughtered down at the school. And I know there's a million people that are weighing in on this left and right, and they're pundits, and they're just people that's their thing to do is for the next week is talk about this. And this video will get lost in the shuffle along with probably a lot of other opinions. But I'm recording it because one, it's still on my mind, and two, I'm a little bit passionate about this idea because of the aftermath of what happens when people start talking about this. They start doing the gun control thing, and they start doing the pro-gun thing. And everybody misses the mark because of their own personal agenda, their personal desire to put their stamp on it, their politics on it. The truth of the matter is nobody is looking to what the differences are in people from back when we didn't have these tragedies to now when we do. And they try to look at what's changed in our culture and how we do things differently, but they're not looking at the fact of the matter and the truth behind it. The truth is that we have created different people in our society, and it's not how it's portrayed by a lot of people. To illustrate, my father was old school. He was an elderly man. He had me when he was in his 40s, so he was born in the 20s, a child of the 30s and 40s. They used to bring guns to school. They had rifles that they hunted squirrels with and shotguns, and they'd shoot birds after school, and a lot of things like that just were the hillbilly type, simpler folk things, but that's the way it was up in Maine in those years when you weren't in the city, and they didn't live in the city. They lived out in the sticks. And so they had the guns. There were guns in school. If they got into a fight, they didn't go grab the gun and shoot their friend. They handled it with their dukes, and all was well with the world. There were guns, just like there are guns now. The availability did not create monstrous kids. It did not create more death in schools. Gun control is not the answer. Never has been, and it's fodder for the chimps who want to argue it. What's different are the people. Because they were exposed to different things, you might say, now we've given them violence. No. How would you figure? When 90% of everything that you watched back then was a shoot-'em-up. The Saturday morning movie that they would go see, the serial movies, they were cowboys and Indians, people pulling arrows out of their chests. They were shoot-'em-ups, gangster movies, cops and robbers. I'll shoot you, you dirty rat, and then they'd riddle each other with Tommy guns. No, it wasn't that. And it isn't because we've made blood more prevalent or we can explode a guy's head against a wall more convincingly, or because we put it in the hands of a video game where you can actually move the guy that's shooting around. Not at all. There's no difference in a video game than a kid saddling up with chaps and guns and hitting out the playground and going bang, 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 shooting Indians and, playing, Western. It's no different. Just because it's a video game doesn't make it any different than a cap gun. It's still pointing a gun and shooting it, and it's fake death. And nobody's fooled. Nobody nowadays thinks that they're really killing people any more than they did back then. It's not that. What it is how we've raised children from early years. It's what we're putting in their DNA. It's that there's three things. There's three ways that people do these murders, or three things that result. The first thing is the fear of the punishment, of the penalty, of hurting other people or killing other people. We've taken that away completely. And I don't mean capital punishment. I don't mean a death penalty changes that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about from the early years on, we have not taught children early. I don't mean at 12 years old when it's too late. I mean the 3 and 4 and 5-year-old kids that do bad things. We don't punish them to the point that in their DNA they feel that there's repercussion. A timeout to a 4-year-old means nothing. You're trying to intellectualize with a child. You're trying to talk to a child. We see parents trying to talk sense into children who are at an age where they haven't developed to the understanding that they're cognizant of it. They understand primitive, good, bad, penalty, rewards, and risks. They understand things on that level. Yes, a spanking. And for those who want to criticize me, hey, I will trade you 20 spankings of the person that killed those children today for the 20 lives that he killed. Would you really have such an issue with that? If those 20 kids could be brought back, would you really have a problem that that man that did that was spanked 20 times? Oh, it wouldn't have done anything, would it? Well, it did in my father's day. My father never saw in his childhood a school that was slaughtered by people. Now, that's not going to say that there weren't crazies. There were people who back, and this brings me to the second point, there were people back then who tried to gain notoriety and the fame by being assassins and by being famous killers. Lee Harvey Oswald, Sirhan Sirhan. Those people wanted to become somebody by killing a public figure. But they chose public figures back then. Why? Because back then it took that. Back then, people had enough self-esteem and they didn't have the sense of self that we have given them today to feel that they can be special just by doing the most mediocre of things. Now, we've given everybody a sense that they are so somebody that every kid plays t-ball, everybody gets a hit, everybody gets a ribbon, everybody's got to feel that they're somebody. We've put that so deeply rooted into people that they want that high or they want that satisfaction on a smaller level. You don't kill a president. No, just killing anybody matters now. You can get that. And it's not because the media puts it out there. The most public event of the 60s that was televised on television besides the moon landings was the assassination of John F. Kennedy. It's out there. Somebody dies, it's out there. Yes, we have more media, we have more exposure, and yes, people talk about it for days on end. But that isn't the real issue. It isn't that somebody knows, I know if I go kill somebody today, I'm going to be on TV. I don't do it because I've been brought up to feel that there's no real benefit in that for me. My sense of self is to the point that I don't need to be somebody. That's what we have to work on. We have to work on taking away the fact that everybody gets a ribbon, that everybody has to feel like they're somebody. Oh, they have to feel good. Oh, the kid has to feel good. Because then we take that and we transfer that into adults that have to feel good. And then when society doesn't make you feel good anymore, you crave that and look for it and you find it. And a lot of people find it at the hands of a weapon. It's not the fact that they went and did that with a gun that we need to go. We need to stop the reasoning behind it. What's making a person feel so hollow inside of them that a mass murder at a school or a post office or a McDonald's is going to feed what they have inside of them? That's what we need to work on when they're kids. Not when it's fluffy and they're teenagers and you have speech. No, you take care of it when they're very young. You let them know when they're young that, yeah, you don't get a hit sometimes. Sometimes you go home and you lost. You struck out. You got no points. Those people are having an ice cream party now because they won, and you're not. But that's just the way it is. That's what we have to work on. Now, the last thing is we have to work on the issue that everybody in them isn't tough enough that they can handle, because one of the reasons people do these killings, like the Columbine kids, is they get picked on. Oh, they got picked on. So they had to put on a trench coat, put a sawed-off shotgun underneath it, walk around and blast people because their feelings were so hurt. Oh, he broke up with his girlfriend, so he snapped. We need to teach children and toughen them when they're young so they become tough adults. And teach them that there are bullies. My father had bullies. My father was bullied. I was bullied. Do I feel like I should shoot somebody? Oh, there were probably days that I wanted to. But no, it wasn't there in my age because I was taught that, yes, you have to deal with it. If someone takes your sandwich, you have to smack them. Nowadays, schools have shut that down. Oh, if you get into a fight in school, oh my word, you're done. You're suspended. There's all kinds of crap that goes along with it. There are going to be bullies. There are going to be victims. I was a victim. But we took care of that and we handled it. And I wasn't left with a need that, oh my God, all of a sudden I've been bullied to the point that I had no outlet. I had no means to comprehend and handle that in my mind. I'm at the end of my rope. I have to go get a gun. I have to go kill somebody now because I was picked on. It wasn't there. It wasn't there in my father's time. They took care of it. Yeah, you might have felt bad, and your old man said, look, next time he does it, you hit him in the mouth. You come home with a bloody mouth, or he might have banged your nose up or something. But at the end of the day, it was pretty much resolved. But we've gone so soft that we've created hard people. We've let our children be so pansied that when anything comes along, they can't handle it to the point that they blow it all off. The worst thing you can have is a person who holds everything in because someday they pop in a big way. It's not the person that yells and screams and has a fit every day that I worry about. It's the quiet guy that never releases it, that someday it comes to fruition and then they take it out on society. That's the problem that we have. So any other thing that you listen to is going to be recycled crap. But people don't want to face that issue because they don't want to be hard. We don't have a generation of people with enough stomach that they can do anything anymore. Because now they can't discipline a child. Because they're going to get ratted out. We've created so many people, a majority of people, that are so soft that don't accept the people who really would still make an effort like I would as a father. I'm not, but I would. And I wouldn't even stand a chance. My kid would be at I'd be at a psychologist if my kid even said, "Oh, I got a spanking last night." And as a result, we're having people die. We're having them die at unprecedented levels by people who aren't old enough to vote. And that's the tragedy of it. No one wants to say it. No one wants to accept it. I've said it. You can flame me if you want. I personally don't care. I don't. I care about those 20 kids that died today. And that's what I care about. Have a nice day.